We're really excited about this conversation. It's a really important one, and we know that Caterpillar is one of our biggest supporters, and so we're really excited. I'm really excited about this conversation. I don't know if you want to introduce yourself more.
Sure, Gloria, thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here. I got here just about a half an hour ago, so I saw the end of the last panel, last discussion, and you can just feel all the energy in this room from all 63 Girl Up chapters represented here from all over the U.S. and several countries. So I'm delighted to be here. Thank you.
So I'm an economics major at Wellesley, so I'm interested in business. I know we've talked a little bit about this back there, but I'm specifically interested in corporate social responsibility and how businesses choose to do good, why they choose to do good, how they choose to do good, how they can improve their efforts. And so basically, I want to know why you think it's important for businesses to try and do good, and why you think corporate social responsibility is important.
Okay, great. Well, I'll try to do my best in answering your question. Caterpillar just turned 90 years old in April. So we were founded 90 years ago. We're based in Peoria, Illinois, which is about 2 hours southwest of Chicago. And we have been involved in our communities in where we work and live since the inception of the company. It's just been core to the Caterpillar values. Two gentlemen started the company. We're very involved in agriculture and infrastructure 90 years ago, helping build roads to hospitals, helping with farming, especially during that period of time in the communities and where Caterpillar decided to build its facilities. So it's just part of our founding fathers. It's part of our corporate culture. We started our Caterpillar Foundation 50 years ago. And the foundation has worked in the U.S. and around the world for those 50 years. We have about 250,000 employees or family-related employees through our CAT dealerships in over 100 countries. So we feel that 250,000 people, and you add to that their families, their spouses, their children, and the efforts that they can make an impact in their communities, it's pretty inspiring, especially if you're in about 100 countries. So through volunteerism, through our business support in different communities and through our foundation, it's just critical for us. Where we work is very important, and the livelihoods of those communities, the prosperity of those communities are very, very important for our Caterpillar families and for those, our neighbors. And so it's just something you actually don't even think about when you work at a company like Caterpillar. It's just what you do, and it's something that we do each and every day. I'm very inspired when I travel all over the world to see our employees out there, whether it be supporting disaster relief, whether it be supporting planting pear trees in China, so small villages have fruit that they can then sell for a profit and build community centers, whether it be working in rainforests in Brazil. It's part of our lifestyle, and I think it's what our employees are most proud of. I'm responsible for all our internal communications at the company as well, so we communicate with our employees each and every day. And the stories that I think are the most inspiring are the ones that are showing what Caterpillar is doing in these communities. Last week, for example, we announced a project in California, and it's not related specifically to girls in this case, but the coastline of California is eroding, and the erosion is causing the whole ecosystem to deteriorate. So when it comes to the fish, seals, water, and the abundance or lack of the abundance of water, the environment, it's a big top priority for California. And Caterpillar announced a project with the Nature Conservancy to help build up those seawalls so that seals can have, their offspring and reproduce, and the fish can live, and there's more ability to bring water in, which is very needed in California. And the employee response to such a project like that is so huge. We have a big facility in San Diego, so we have people living and working in the state. And so that's where people at Caterpillar feel really good about what we do and coming to work each and every day.
That's so awesome to hear that, the employees are really the driving force behind a lot of the work that you do and kind of the heartbeat and the pulse that keeps it going strong. So you touched a little bit on your approach to philanthropy and your approach to your corporate social responsibility, but could you elaborate a little bit more as to how Caterpillar seeks out potential partners and what those potential partnerships, maybe seek out in you, what a relationship between you guys looks like, and how that process works?
Well, it's very difficult, as you can imagine,
Yeah.
because there are more wonderful opportunities and partnerships than we're able to actually handle as one company. All of our efforts are really based on how well the company does each and every year. And so we really do have to prioritize, and that's difficult to do. Our approach as we've gone into the last few years and partnering with organizations like UN Foundation has really been focused on solving real world issues. And Caterpillar believes strongly that if you address poverty in multiple ways through the whole sort of ecosystem, you can make a huge impact on the world. And so if you kind of look at that overarching area of poverty and what contributes towards poverty and what kind of programs can lift countries up and out of poverty, girls are a wonderful fit. And the fact that so many girls lack the education they need is a key focus of Caterpillar and the partnerships that we have. So we really look at education, and we know the statistics show, the studies show that if girls are more educated, then they are likely to marry later, they are likely to educate their own children, they are likely to work in their communities and contribute back towards their families, and for every 10% of increased education in girls, the GDP of that country goes up 3%. So we really feel, again, as you look at poverty, the girls in education is a fabulous opportunity to advance. And so we really do focus on education, and not just girls. We also focus on the environment. Caterpillar sustainability is a key value for Caterpillar. So when it comes to clean water and the ability to drink and have clean water, that's a big focus for us, and other environmental issues. I mentioned the project in California we announced last week. So we look at these different categories, and we look at the different partnerships that are available out there, and certainly groups come to us. And what we try to do is look at it from an innovation standpoint. So at Caterpillar, we don't call it corporate social responsibility. In fact, we think that's sort of a term of the past. We feel it's more corporate social innovation. How do we address global poverty, energy sources, environment, education in realistic ways, and look at the whole ecosystem? And how are we picking partners that are all leveraging off each other? So again, working with the UN Foundation, working with Opportunity International, working with water.org, all of these different groups touch a part of the ecosystem that helps address poverty issues. And so for Caterpillar, our approach is very unique. We feel very innovative and very inspiring, and that helps us decide what we're able to make an impact on and what we're able to prioritize and do. There are lots of things that come at us. So certainly we're based in Illinois, and so there are a lot of local programs that are very important. We do things across all of the United States, but most of our funding now is outside the United States, and we're really focusing quite a bit on Africa. In particular. So we've really grown our foundation and our efforts.
I like that you chose the word, innovation to describe kind of this process and this engagement. It is more of a holistic approach, I think, and that actually reminds me of one of the reasons that I loved Girl Up when I heard about it, because, it's not just about safety, it's not just about education, it's not just about health, it's not just about poverty, but it's really touching on all of these key factors, not just touching on all of them, but how they relate to each other and why they relate to each other, and what do we do with that information? And so I guess I'm wondering what excites you and Caterpillar the most about, what's going on here and Girl Up and our focus countries and causes, and, what are the synergies that we find between each other?
Well, I get that question quite a bit, and a lot of people say, well, what, Caterpillar, we make tractors, we make locomotives, we make mining trucks that mine, iron ore, precious metals, coal. So as a woman executive at Caterpillar, I get asked this all the time, well, because you're a woman, are you doing women's work and girl work? Why is Caterpillar focusing so much on girls? And, the majority of our executives are men, and it's kind of a man, rough and tough industry, right? We have some wonderful women in our engineer force and manufacturing and leadership, but you kind of think of tractors and trucks and you think of guys, men. So why are we in this? What's our game? What's our upside about all this? And again, I think it's a lot of passion. Michelle Sullivan is the head of our foundation, for those of you who might be familiar with her. And Michelle and I love partnering on this. We really believe, again, if you have almost 500 million girls who cannot read or write over the age of 15, this is a problem. And we do feel that if girls are empowered, if they have a voice, if they can change political and cultural barriers that are keeping them from being educated, we can empower that. We can make a difference. And with our footprint around the world and our leadership, and the belief that we can make a difference, we think that the Girl Up organization, as part of the UN Foundation, is a fabulous partner to work with. It's going to take a lot of effort, and again, just feeling the energy and seeing all of your faces, that's what it's all about. We also like the fact that it's girls by girls. And, it's one thing to have an organization in Washington kind of, directing everything and saying, well, we're going to do this in Africa, and we're going to do this in Asia, and we're going to do this in Latin America, we're going to make Guatemala a better place for girls. You need leadership and organizations to do that, but what you really need is boots on the ground. You need girls who feel confident, who are trained with the right kinds of leadership skills, that are empowered to have that voice and that confidence to get out there and make a difference and make a change and be heard. And that's why we love Girl Up. It's because you all are the voices of this 500 million girls. And that is what will make you successful, and that's where Caterpillar wants to help. And we really believe very much so that it's got to be boots on the ground and your own will and your own power to get these kinds of goals that you have accomplished, and we're excited to be a part of it.
So, obviously, because of what you just said, we have officially 1,000 clubs full of middle school, high school, college-age girls, and these girls are learning leadership skills we'll have these skills for the rest of our lives, even things like how to plan an agenda, how to fundraise, how to reach out to other people to coordinate on events, how to, do all of these things. We're learning these skills, and they're skills that we're going to have with us forever. But what do you think are some of the challenges that we might face, and what do you think are some of the, walls that we might confront as adolescent girls?
Well, one thing I'd like to share with you, as Gloria and I were in the backstage there, we realized that we both went to the same high school just down the road here in Washington. Of course, she graduated much later than I did, but we share that, and we were both commenting on how fantastic a high school we both went to and the opportunities that were presented to us. I mean, we both were very active in sports. We were active and I was very active on the debate team and student government. I wanted to learn how to write, and so I joined the school newspaper. I wanted to learn how to be a photographer, so I took photography lessons. I was so empowered, as was Gloria, by your high school, that it really gave you that foundation and that base to try and do everything and be empowered to be all you can be, right? So imagine how many girls aren't in school. I mean, school gives you so many opportunities and experiences to be part of this, and I guarantee you all of you are members of more than one or two clubs or organizations. And that's where you learn all of these skills and these leadership styles. It's where you mentor people. What I learned in high school and what I learned in college gave me the foundation to be able to do the job I do today at Caterpillar. I certainly had mentors between college and now, but it really, really does give you that foundational set of skills that you need. And so I think the biggest challenge is getting girls into school. And again, the numbers that we have are ridiculous. They're embarrassing. If you think about that almost half a billion, that's more than the populations of Canada, the United States, and Mexico combined. I mean, think about that. How many people cannot read? And all of us, you learn to read. You go to school, you learn to read. So I think the biggest challenge is making sure that girls get the education that they need to get. The other would be is the voice, is being heard. And there's sort of a double-edged sword here with social media and the internet. It allows you the platforms that you need to be heard, but at the same time, that makes for a lot of noise out there. So how did you differentiate yourself? How do you get things accomplished? How do you build your momentum through all of these different channels? And I think that's a huge challenge. Communications is an opportunity, but it's also a challenge for organizations like this. You know, how do you get more and more advocacy around the issues that you're trying to address? And I think communications can be a real big challenge. I would say, and again, with our age difference and graduating from Churchill, I think that today there's probably more opportunities than there are challenges. And maybe challenges and opportunities are together. Yeah.
That's really inspiring to know and to be a part of.
Oh, absolutely. I think there's so much opportunity. And again, partnerships like a UN Foundation give you that leverage, they're enablers. And I think there's much more self-awareness. And I think the smallest of groups now can make huge impacts. It used to be that you had to have a well-funded machine to get anything done. You had to have dollars, you had to have, rock star supporters, you had to have a crisis or, concerts. And now, a small group of 4 girls can start a club and gain momentum and go in and see political officials and make a difference. You can get an article in a newspaper or on a blog and make a difference. So I'm excited about the opportunity. I have a 10-year-old daughter who can't be a Girl Up champion yet because she's not old enough. And she's trying since she was 8. And, she's already got her own website. She's got her own blog. She's doing all of these things from a communication communication method to get things out that she feels are important. And I think that's just so fabulous that you don't have to have a lot of money and you don't have to have huge organizations behind you to be successful. So seize the moment and you can get it done. You can make a difference.
I was just about to mention your daughter, and I met your son. He was helping register all of us for the summit, and he's been volunteering. I know you told me about some of his work sending sports equipment to Ghana. And so, why do you think, as their mom, that it's important for your kids and for kids our age in general to get involved with these types of issues and to get involved with global issues and to be engaged, in something that's so much larger than, ourselves and so much bigger? Why do you think it's important for us to be involved?
Well, I'll make a comment too. And my daughter came to UN Week with me and one of the Girl Up meetings in New York in 2013 when we first started partnering with Girl Up and the UN Foundation. And got very inspired by everything that you're doing and your vision and your mission. And when you really sort of think about it, it can't just all be about girls. You've got to have men involved and understanding this. And most of the policymakers in the world are men. Most of the leadership in the world that have policies in place or governments in place that aren't enabling girls to be educated are men. And so men are a part of the dialogue. They have to be involved and engaged. So when I proposed to my son that he come here for a few days and be with hundreds of girls from all over the world, it wasn't too hard to sell for him. So I hope you all meet David. I don't know where he's probably not very happy with me right now. But So I think it's important. It just can't be girls advocating for girls. Men have got to be part of the dialogue, and that's the same at Caterpillar. Again, I talked about our leadership. All of our top executives are men, and then at the vice president level, there are a lot of women involved. And so, how do you engage in diversity in the corporate sector as well, and having men as part of that dialogue is really important. I think for kids, I mean, what you want to do is role model, right? And get them involved. And again, it goes back to education. My children go to a school where community service is just a part of the culture. It's part of what they do every single week in their schools. And so it's hopefully what they'll carry through in their adult life as well. And I think we have some other sons here with some UN staff. I think Ashton is here too. And so some of it is just really strong moms who make their kids go to work and not get paid. And but it's good to do. And the more you involve your kids, I think, and hopefully as you have children, I'm sure you'll involve them as well in what you're doing. It's really important.
Yeah, it's awesome. Thank you so much, Kathryn. That was my last question, but it was really nice hearing from you.
Thank you very much. I'll be spending some time with you tomorrow as well in the sessions. Really excited to hear Michelle Obama tomorrow. Is that so awesome? Very awesome. So
we are so excited.
Thank you, and I'd be happy to answer any questions or, certainly out in the hallway. But keep up the great work. And again, you are making a huge impact and a big difference. And Caterpillar is just so thrilled to be a partner for all of this. So thank you, Gloria.
Thank you so much again. Let's give Kathryn a warm round of applause.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.